Hello everyone, it's Amanda, and I am going to make a video today talking about how to talk to someone who is sad. And to start off this video, I want to say that I don't have all of the answers to these questions. I don't know how to deal with every situation, and there's so many different layers to human experience that won't be covered here simply because the amount of them is vast and almost infinite. And that's why I want to cover specifically how to talk to someone who is sad. I'll speak for myself. Well, I'll describe a situation. This happens fairly often, so it's a good one to cover. So sometimes I just get sad, and it's a part of life, and it happens, and I'm crying, and I'm crying, and I'm crying, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to someone. I think that'll help. And so I do, and what happens is they say these words to me: "It's okay, shh, stop crying, you'll be okay, it's okay." And what I think is that these words are well intended, and yet they don't convey the kind of kindness that people really deserve. When I hear those words, what I'm hearing underneath that level of word is, what you're feeling right now is not okay. You need to stop so that I can feel better. And I know a lot of people who are really kind and say these words and would be maybe even offended at hearing that that's how it sounds. But it does, and it feels like my emotions are being shamed for being there. It feels like they're not allowed to exist in that situation, and so they have to be put aside. Whenever I'm with someone who's crying, I try to be in full acceptance of what's happening, of their tears, of their state of emotions, of everything that's happening. I believe that crying is actually an act of release, and it's incredibly healing, especially when we're with someone who allows what we're doing to be okay and holds us in that space and doesn't try to change us. I think that's the big thing here, is trying to change someone versus being with that person and holding them in that place and saying to them, you know, I'm here for you. I hear you. I get it. And that's all we need to hear. Because otherwise it feels like we're in this gooey pit and you're pulling our arm, trying to drag us out faster than we can go. And that's probably one of the most painful feelings ever. Not being really heard. I can say from experience in my life that feeling not heard has been one of the hardest things. And so I want more people to have the tools of empathy, to be able to relate with people on a more authentic level so that we can all be more healthy and happy. One method that I see used quite often in organizational places like camps and schools and places like that and even probably with parents. I'm not sure on that because I haven't seen it as much, but that method is distraction. People take someone who's crying, someone who's upset, someone who's having a hard time dealing with what's going on, and they try to distract them with something else. Like, oh, but think about what we get to do tomorrow, or etc., etc. And it's not that I don't think this is good, and it's not that it doesn't sometimes work. It's that we have to be really discerning when we think about how we're distracting someone, like a child or an adult, someone who is upset. Because what's happening is they're experiencing an emotion and they're feeling something, and they're really touching a pretty deep part of their soul, right? And what we could be doing when we're distracting is actually trying to like mask it with like layers and layers of like something else, just so that they don't have to feel that spot that we see as being so painful. But the thing is, if we really want to be healers, and I know not everyone's called to be a healer, but many of people are, and people who are watching this video, I'm sure you are, we need to recognize how we're treating people, and we need to take our ideas about what is okay to feel and what is not okay to feel, and we need to kind of throw them out the window, and we need to have empathy and open up that space for healing. So be that conduit for God, for Christ, for Krishna, for Reiki, for whatever it is that you are channeling, and hold that energy in your heart and let that flow back and forth between you and the other person so that they can be fully healed. So that they can fully release and accept where they're at. And I don't think that this is easy. I'm not saying that this is easy, and I think that living this way takes a lot of practice, and it's an art. Just like any form of healing, it is an art. But I want us all to practice it more. So this is a call to action for empathy and radical acceptance, rather than shaming emotions and tears and distraction. One last thing that I want to talk about is why these current structures are in place. Why do we shame emotions? Why is crying in public so humiliating? Why are we Why are we forgetting the true essence of ourselves? This is do you hear this? This is a call. This is a call to action. This is not a coincidence right now. This is God. Why are we shaming emotion? Why are we shaming tears? And one thing I'll say about that is that we live in a culture, and we live in a society where the dark and the messy and the chaotic and the things that we can't control, like nature, like tears, like babies, like animals, like women who are sexually empowered, are feared, which is the feminine, also the dark or the obscure. And they're feared because they destroy that which is not in alignment with integrity. So they destroy whatever is in the way of God fully flowing through life. or a human being's life, or a community, or a city, or a country, or a planet, or a galaxy. So, there's a lot to think about here, and I don't think we have to have all the answers now, but I think it's time to start asking the questions, and I think that it's time to be our own authority in our lives, because they're our lives and they're our minds. We own them. No one else does. And if we want to create the change that we want to see in the world, we have to take ownership for our stories. Right now I'm writing a book. I'm really nervous. I have been very strongly wanting to let my voice out into the world. And I've been trying to figure out a lot of different ways to do that. And I have always been a writer. I've been writing since I was very young. And I believe that this book is going to be a compilation of quite a few years of writing. And more than anything, the book is about growing up with God. And what that looks like and what that feels like, and kind of going through the dark night of the soul with it, and forgetting who you are and remembering and realizing how strong you are, and just kind of a commentary on how fucking challenging life can be and how fucking hard growing up actually is, because no one really seems to talk about that. But I hope that this book can bring some light and some admittance and some authenticity to the process. And maybe help some other people who are going through it or will be going through it, and kind of just let people know that they're not alone. You know, because I think so often, especially when we go into new environments, we can get into this state where we just believe that we're alone. And we're not. We're really not. God is here, always with us. And our friends are with us. Our family is with us. Even if they've passed, they're with us. And I think that that's a big, big, big important thing to remember, is just how loved we are. And that really starts with loving ourselves, which is the task of a lifetime. So, I thank you for watching this video. May you be divinely blessed with abundance and prosperity and happiness and health. Good, vibrant health. Good relationships. Good community. An awesome, awesome day.